If you come down to the Comedy Cellar, you'd be very lucky if your host for the evening, the MC, the guy who is the master of ceremonies, sometimes it's a woman, but you'd be very lucky if the guy were Mike Yard. This is an accomplished comic who the other comics all love, and the word I would use to describe his comedy is sly. I don't know. You like that word, Mike?
Sly. I don't know. I gotta mull that over a little bit. Sly. I like that.
Yeah, because I think that you come at it not like a blunderbuss, but you ingratiate yourself with the audience. They see the world through your point of view, and then you could kind of let them in on your world, whether it's a bat in your hotel room or your experience.
That's real. That's real life too. Damn bat attacked me in San Antonio.
And as it's happening, and this must happen. How long have you been doing comedy? 20 years?
I started comedy when I was like 25, so I'm 53. I've been doing it 28 years now.
28 years.
Yeah, man.
So at this point, bad things happen, but immediately you must be saying, all right, it's going to be a bit.
Well, of course. I mean, that's, this is the world we've chosen to live in as far as stand-up comics. Whenever something, no matter how traumatizing happens to you, you got to try to find the funny in it. That's what we do.
Now, I think you might be the second most prominent person from the U.S. Virgin Islands that I know after, of course, Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan and I are from the same island.
Are you a good swimmer like he was?
Oh, absolutely.
His first love was swimming.
I grew up swimming. I mean, I was in the ocean from a kid. I learned how to swim because my father threw me off the dock into the ocean and was like, swim. And we figured it out.
It always works, except when it doesn't. And we don't talk about those instances.
Exactly. But it did work in that instance because, now I'm here. I'm still here. So, but yeah, I've been swimming from, I can't even remember how, maybe like 5, 6 years old.
So do you think that gives you the classic insider-outsider perspective? You show up on stage, everyone's like, oh yeah, he's one of us, but you're a little bit removed from the culture. They say Canadians are very good at that. They observe American culture a little bit as an outsider, and it lets them notice things that maybe someone who is steeped in it wouldn't notice to begin with.
Well, I don't know if that's the reason because I've been in America since I was 13 years old. So I've basically spent most of my life in New York City. So I just look at things differently. Maybe it's because I'm a Libra or, you know what I mean? I don't know. I like to, try to hear both sides of the argument and then decide where I land on it. I'm not one of those people that just because, my crew decided this is what we're going to think, that I'm going to think that way. No, I've never been a follower. So I just try to figure things out by looking at both sides.
That's a classic skill of a comic too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things about being a comic, because we're doing commentary on culture and you know what I mean? So yeah, I think you should definitely not be like one-sided as a comic.
So when you hear or see a dominant narrative, are you itching to, you could either naturally gravitate towards it or you might be itching to figure out the other side and if there's comedy there. Does that happen?
I don't know that I'm itching to figure out the other side. Like if there's a dominant narrative and it makes sense to me, then I'll follow that narrative. But if it's a dominant narrative that doesn't make sense to me, then I'm going to dig a little deeper and figure out why are everybody falling for this bullshit.
Can you think of a joke like that? Yeah, you can. You must.
Yeah. Motherfucker.
Do you think of a joke that was born of that?
Well, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now, as far as politics are concerned, is where I'm really like finding that like, wow, like I look at the Republicans' idea of how we should protect the border, right? And I look at the Democrats' idea of how we should protect the border. And I feel like both of them are wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where's the middle ground? That's what I look for. You know what I mean? Where's the middle? Like, you're going to build a wall? Like, don't you've never watched any movies from the 1700s? They already figured out how to scale walls. Like, you know what I mean? All they need is a long ass ladder.
Right.
So
What's your entire border security plan is thwarted by the word ladder.
Exactly.
Don't have a great plan.
You build a wall. That's like, come on, man. What are you, a Knights Templar? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know what I mean? So like, people can scale walls.
Right. So what's the Democratic narrative?
And the Democratic narrative is let everybody in, which to me is ridiculous. I feel like I need to know who's in my country.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be no circumstance under which somebody's in this country and I don't know that they're here. So when you're telling me that, we should be more empathetic and all that. Yeah, we should be empathetic. There are people that have legitimate reasons to run from their country. There's also a lot of motherfuckers just coming in here trying to get away with whatever the fuck they want to get away with, and then run back to Mexico or Venezuela or Canada or wherever the fuck they're from. You know what I mean? So let's have a system that meets somewhere in the middle. Okay, we not make it as difficult for people to get in here, but we also need to know who's here.
So you're not in any way anti-immigration. You're just extremely pro-census.
Exactly. I'd fill out the census every.
You want extreme accountability for everyone. Everyone has a number, maybe a social security number.
Exactly. Not a number on their arm. Yeah. But like we should know that you're here.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous to have people in your country and you don't know who they are.
So you say that a version of this or this on stage?
I do talk about it on stage, yeah.
And do people like it? Do people like the fact
I mean, because I make sense, man. I'm not, and I'm not malicious. I'm not coming from a perspective where I hate people or I'm like, I don't want, people in this country. No, I think everybody should have the opportunity to come to this country. My parents are from French Caribbean islands. My father's from St. Lucia, my mother's from Dominica, and they came to St. Croix and they got their naturalization. They went through the process that you're supposed to go through. And what's wrong with that?
Immigrants always say this, by the way. People who did it the right way, they always say this.
But it's a fact, though. Sure. What's wrong with that?
Right.
Why should you not have to go through that?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand why you should be so special that you don't have to go through the process that everybody else has to go through. I don't get that. You know what I mean?
When you say this to, say, a New York crowd, are they with you because it's interesting, it's not what they expected, or do you think maybe they look at you or have gotten to know you from the first 10 minutes you present yourself and say, this is a guy saying this without cruelty or animus?
I think that's what it is because, whenever I get on stage, I always, let people know who I am, and once you hear who I am, you absolutely know that it's not coming from a place of hate or hey, listen, if you go through the right process, everybody, come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on in. I don't care. But there has to be a process. Like, what are we doing?
That's considered a conservative idea.
I know. I have conservative ideas and I have liberal ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a human being. I'm I could do different. I can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Uh-huh. So I heard you say, I've been here in New York City since you were 13. Isn't that the fiction your father foisted upon you for you to say New York City and not Brooklyn, which was indeed the case?
Well,
I heard you joke about this years ago.
I am from Brooklyn, but
he didn't say we're going to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is New York City, though. Oh yeah, my pops did. He told me we were moving to New York City, and then we ended up in East New York, Brooklyn, the worst neighborhood in America, bro. Oh my God, that was insane. That was a ride, though, man. What a ride that was.
Literally?
Bro. Yeah, man. Like, I lived in that neighborhood for about 10 years. And when I got out, I could finally exhale. It was a ride, man. Fucking scary.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
You going to sleep at night and you hear bang, 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 gunshots. Like, it was war, man. It was crack. Oh. Crack came right when I got here. Great timing.
Oh.
Right when I moved to New York, the crack epidemic fucking popped up, and I just had to figure out. And like coming from the islands, like you don't deal with shit like that, Like the most we did was fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, fist fights. That's what we did as kids growing up. We would have fist fights. You come to New York and they shooting at each other. You got 13-year-olds shooting at each other. It was insane, bro.
So do you feel that you have the ability to, or frequently find yourself code switching even among Black people?
What do you mean code switch? Oh, like dealing with Caribbean people different than I deal with American Blacks?
Yeah, like I know that you play a lot of white audiences and then I've heard some of your comedy albums and stuff when you're playing a Black audience. There's a little bit of code switch there. You're doing a lot of material with the Black audiences about specific hip hop songs that I think would have lost some of the white audience.
Yeah.
But I'm even talking about with Black audiences. Like they might think you're just a Black guy who was born in East New York, but you really are from the islands. Well,
I mean, I don't know that. I guess I do kind of code switch because there's certain things that white audiences just won't get because they're just not familiar with the, with with what I'm talking about, and black audiences will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
So, yeah, sometimes you
But
have
what about within black audience?
Oh, yeah. Like if I do a Caribbean audience, that's
Mhm.
because Caribbean audiences like more like knock jokes and shit like that. They really do like corny ass comedy, man. And then
Do you like doing that?
you have no, I don't really, but I don't do that though.
Right.
When I do Caribbean audiences, I might speak to something specifically Caribbean that they'll get. You know what I mean?
So what's an example of that?
Like I had a joke that I did on Bad Boys of Comedy about you can't hijack Air Jamaica.
Why you think they didn't hijack like Air Africa? I don't know if that's an airline, but it's for this joke. Because that's not going to be an easy hijacking. Can you imagine that? Them Africans have been in America for years and have sold mad DVDs, right? They're going back to their village to build a hospital. Because that's what they always say, I'm going to build a hospital in my village. Here comes some terrorists on Air Africa talking about, hello, we are taking over the plane. Some Africans be like, oh no. Umbugu. No, he's crazy, don't worry, I will deal with it, okay? Enjoy your peanuts. No, enjoy your peanuts, I will deal with this. And Africans are really nice, even when they're mad. They talk to you nice. Excuse me, mister, yes, I am sorry. I do not mean to interrupt you. No, I realize that you are very, very busy. Okay, but my friend and I are confused. Okay, did I or did I not hear you say that you was taking over this plane? Is that what I heard? No, oh yes, oh okay, yes, boom. Uh-huh. No, he's crazy, don't worry, I will deal with it. Enjoy your peanuts. No, enjoy your peanuts, I will deal with it.
Yeah, because, you know, Jamaicans are the angriest group of black people on the planet. Now, Caribbean people will know that. Jamaicans are just angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they make such beautiful music, but they're angry as hell in real life. You know what I mean? So the joke is basically that imagine a hijacker on Air Jamaica, like a hijacker come on and be like, hello, may I have your attention, please? We are taking over the plane. And Jamaicans be like, that's a very Caribbean thing.
Yeah.
That sucking your teeth thing. If I do that in a Caribbean audience, they will lose their mind
love it, yeah.
because their mother does it to them, their father does it to them. They do it every day of their life.
Yeah.
You know, and they'd be like, you know how Jamaicans get.
Yeah. So it's a great joke because the Jamaicans recognize it, but the other people from the other islands is like, yeah, those angry goddamn Jamaicans.
That's how they do. Everybody knows Jamaicans are angry as hell. They just like, you go to a Jamaican restaurant, they act like they doing you a favor.
Yeah, I guess to the rest of America, it's all Bob Marley and Irie vibes.
Exactly.
That's
but to black people, even black Americans, they know because, you know, Jamaicans are all throughout our neighborhood. So, they know how they get. They know how angry they get. You go to a Jamaican restaurant, they be like, what you want? Like, what you mean, man? I'm trying to spend money here. What's all this attitude
People
about?
must love that joke because they don't get that. You know, it's very, very specific.
Yeah.
So you have a great joke about mass shootings. And that's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
So I think we could play the joke.
Mass shootings, every other week there's another one. So one day I was smoking. And I was like, I feel like this is so solvable. What are we missing? What are we not paying attention to? And then it hit me. I was like, nobody's looking into the candle industry and the role that they might be playing in our inability to get gun control done. Because think about it, they have a vested interest. Because after every mass shooting, what do we have? Candlelight vigil. Don't you bail out on me. That's a good joke. You guys are here for comedy. Loosen the fuck up. That is an awesome joke. You know, every time. Those are new purchases, people. Those people didn't have candles sitting in their house like, let me go home and get my candle. They bought that that day. And Big Candle is just sitting back like, Big Candle.
It's about the candle industry.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about how that idea came to you? And then we'll talk about how you crafted into the nearly perfect, pristine form we see it in today.
Well, I wanted to do a joke about mass shootings because, I mean, like what's going on? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, why can't we stop this? This is crazy to me that we have one every other day. It's insane to me, and nobody's doing anything about it. But whenever you broach subjects like that, people like to run to their little corners. You know what I mean? And they get, they shrink. They don't want to hear it because people don't really want to hear anything that's opposite to what they think, right?
Right.
So I was trying to
Especially in
figure
something
out,
so raw as
exactly,
that. And it's an identity issue, no matter which side you're on. Like, screw you, my guns, I'm a responsible gun owner, or I fucking hate these NRA people. They don't understand and love kids. So it really is personal.
Yeah, it really, everybody takes it very personal, but I think I kind of figured out a way to talk about it and make it funny.
Yeah.
And also make people think like, yeah, why can't we stop this? Like, we should do more to stop this. You know what I mean? And fuck the candle industry.
That's right. But so when did the candle aspect of it, which is the punchline of the conceit, how did that hit you?
Well, I think when I started writing the joke, that's where I was going with it because I would notice every time something happened, there would be like a candlelight vigil. Like there's so many. And then you go past where, these places where somebody got shot down and there's candles and like, damn, they keep making money off of all of these tragedies.
Right.
And so I was like, how do I bring this all together? And I worked on it and figured it out.
So so I'm going to break this down a little bit. The audience loves it. There are two big laughs there. One is a laugh of discovery, right? You let them figure out what you're saying.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And was that always
Which is the best part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That was always baked into it.
Yes. That's exactly how I wanted
Maybe because does that reflect how you thought of it? Like it dawned on you and you laughed at that realization, so you let them realize
Absolutely. I let them come to that realization the same way I did. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are making millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Off of people getting shot the fuck up. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's bring them to who knows? They might be putting a lot of money into the, stopping legislation from getting. I mean, let's just take a look. That's what I always say. Listen, it doesn't hurt to take a look.
Yeah.
And maybe Yankee Candles.
That's right.
Maybe they are responsible.
Follow the money and
exactly
follow the wick.
Exactly.
So is part of the critique that like we have these just ways to perform our grief. And so, of course, people, when it happens in their town, they're not insincere. But the fact that like this is just the known go-to response is a little sick in a way.
It really is.
Yeah. So is that part of the joke?
I think what for me, it's really like the insanity of it all. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We do the same thing. That's what I'm trying to, get people to realize. Like, we're insane when we have a mass shooting and then we do the same thing. We buy candles. We have a candlelight vigil. We yell at the NRA. We yell at politicians.
Right.
And then we have another one.
Right.
And we don't ever do anything to really make sure that change really happens. We just like to yell. I think that's our go-to, just to yell at somebody and then bring candles out.
Right. So what we've done is instead of address the problem, we've erected some traditions around it.
Exactly.
The joke isn't really about candles. It's about the inadequacy of our response. And the inadequacy of our response is represented by a candle, which is kind of a stupid thing that a lot of people actually don't like.
Yeah, I don't, that's my thing. I don't get it. I've never been to a candlelight vigil.
Yeah.
No.
And it would feel compelled. Like, I don't know.
Like, what are we doing here? Well,
Yeah.
okay, we have
Yeah.
candles, but the person still got shot up. There's still millions of fucking AR-15s out on the market.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? What are we accomplishing here?
And if you just
give Big Candle more money.
If you try to make that joke or those points without the candle, I don't know. It does seem a little strident.
The candle is what really make people digest it better.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's so candle. It's innocuous. It's like, it's a candle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a candle.
But it's
so real.
It's the symbol of our inadequacy and our impotence. Yeah.
Our insanity.
All of that. And how's the joke? It ends. There's an aspect of it. And you do a lot of humor like this where You did it when you were on Larry WiImore's nightly show. You kind of make fun of people who believe in conspiracy theories, and you're doing that same thing here, right?
I do think it's hilarious people that just follow conspiracy theories. I actually wrote a TV show about me like unveiling, unearthing conspiracy theories and finding the.
You're like
the
Mulder
root
and
of it.
Scully all in one.
Yeah, I was like, like is Pharrell a vampire? Some people think he is.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah. Pharrell Williams, they think he's a vampire.
Uh-huh.
He hasn't aged.
Yeah,
the guy looks
true.
the same that he looked in 1995.
Yeah.
He
It's
looks
the
exactly
hat,
the same.
right? It's some sort of good hat
he just
living.
puts on like a bigger hat every year. But he still looks the same. He's
Norman
to
Lear.
distract us from
Holy
the fact
shit,
that he
Norman
hasn't
Lear,
aged.
or he's 104. He always wears a hat. We have to
Uh-huh.
look at the hat guys. Maybe they live longer. Who knows?
Mm.
Maybe it's I don't know, facelifts and all this extra skin is going up to and being covered by.
Well,
the
I
hat.
don't know that.
That's
Pharrell's
literally the
facelifts,
cover up.
though.
Well, I don't know. You don't know because all
Maybe
the
I
excess skin is under the hat. So we're saying that pilot didn't go anywhere.
No, we pitched it to a couple of people, but nothing came of it. And then we moved on.
For do you think conspiracy?
I would pitch it again though, because I think I would know how to pitch it better. I didn't know how to pitch it the last time.
What would your new pitch be?
Well, I mean, I haven't sat down and went through it, but I do know how to pitch better now. You know what I mean? Like I've taken some courses and I've pitched a couple of shows. They got picked up, so I know how to pitch now.
Did that show happen before Q and before that whole phenomenon?
Yes, this was before QAnon really like shot.
So maybe people want a
Took
conspiracy
off.
theory
Yeah.
show now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know about Q back then. I just thought it was crazy the things that people believe.
What conspiracy theories do you believe in?
What conspiracy theory do I believe in? I don't know that I believe in any conspiracy theory.
Well, if you
Because
believe
here's
in it,
the
it's
thing.
not a
If you give
conspiracy
me a
theory.
conspiracy theory, I'm going to research it.
Right.
And then I'm going to figure out that you're a nutcase.
Right. Well,
You know what I
tell me
mean?
if this is a conspiracy theory. I wouldn't be blown away or knocked over if it turns out that Jeffrey Epstein didn't just kill himself of his own free will.
Oh, I already know he didn't just kill
Okay, so
himself.
then
Well, it's not a conspiracy theory
just
because
fact.
we all know.
But that's like the moon landing was fake. People
This
would say
dude
it's all
was a
fact.
billionaire,
Yeah.
right? And he was locked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had dirt on Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, all these dudes. He had dirt. Don't you think they had a meeting and they were like, man, we got to get rid of this because he looked like the weakest link. I'm telling you, they had that dude. Come on, dude. I've been to jail. There's no way that this dude would have hung himself because he would have been on suicide watch.
Were you on watch? More,
No, I
more
wasn't on
severe,
watch.
More severe than Jeffrey Epstein?
No, I wasn't on watch, but I know how shit operate in jail.
Yeah.
Okay? There's no way this dude would have been able to hang himself. He was too high profile.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you, somebody choked him out.
On the other hand, a lot of conspiracies theories are undone by the fact that regular people, are just highly incompetent. And in this case, jail guards, prison guards are not the best and the brightest, as you probably know.
No, bro. When you on protective custody, it's different. It's a different world, baby. Now, if you on general population, yeah, you could you could hang yourself because there's not enough guards. But when you in protective custody, that's a small amount of inmates.
Right.
And he was way too high profile to be, and you know he was on suicide watch. This dude is a billionaire and he's locked up now. He's automatically on suicide watch.
Would you be saying this if it were funnier to deny it?
No, I only speak the truth, bro.
Okay.
No, no.
So I saw you talking about your stint in prison vaguely the other day, and you had such a good joke about it.
Here's what saved my life, going to jail. That saved my life. I used to say comedy saved my life, but I think going to prison saved my life. Because as soon as I got to jail, I realized, I don't like this. I don't really belong here. And here's the second thought I had was, thank God we have jails. Because there's a lot of motherfuckers that belong there. I was just walking through like, you should be here. You should be here. Oh, motherfucker, you need your own jail. You are horrible. There's just predators in there, man. I had a dude threaten to rape me over tuna fish. This is how fucked up they are. I was like, really, dog? I just think you're gay. And you just have a hard time coming to terms with that, so you want to mask it with violence. How the fuck are you gonna threaten to rape me because I didn't have a tuna fish sandwich for you? Because I used to work in the kitchen when I was locked up, and I used to bring back contraband. I used to sell shit for shit that I needed. And he promised me, he wanted tuna fish, and he promised me cigarettes, and I was like, okay. So they didn't have tuna fish that day, so I was like, yo, they don't have no tuna fish. And he was like, yo, you know who the fuck I am? I was like, yeah, we live together. He was like, I'm Big Bo, motherfucker. You tell me you don't have no tuna fish? I was like, nah, there ain't no tuna fish. It's not like a prerequisite.
Which was that you believe in prison.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely,
and
bro.
the reason you believe in prison is what?
Because there's psychos out here, bro.
Because you've been to prison.
I've been to jail, and I'm telling you, 99% of the dudes I was locked up with belong in jail.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Let's stop this. Counseling don't work for everybody. Okay? People think that you could just send out these counselors out in the hood and use your word. No. There are some sociopaths out there. Some people that they're missing something. I was locked up with them. I'm telling you, they are missing something in their brain, and they should never be out with normal people. I'm telling you, we need prisons.
And so on stage, the succinct line that gets the laugh is what?
Oh, about that with that joke?
Yeah.
Oh, I say, stop saying that we don't need jails. We need jails. I've been to jail. We need them. Okay. You know what my first thought was? My first day in jail, I was like, thank God we have jail. And that's when it starts off the big laugh. And
yeah.
And then I have a part of the joke where I go, I had a dude threaten to rape me over tuna fish. You want that dude out in the street? If you willing to rape somebody over tuna fish?
That's funny. Tuna fish is funny. Did it really happen?
Oh, yeah.
Over tuna fish?
Yeah.
Did you give up the tuna fish?
No, I didn't know. What happened was I say it in the joke. I was working in the kitchen. And so I would like bring shit back and smuggle shit back and sell it for different stuff that I needed. Like if I wanted like Twinkies or ring dings, or I would be like a chicken leg.
Good healthy living.
Yeah,
in
well,
jail.
you in jail, so you got to put on weight.
That's right.
I would do like a chicken leg for a pack of cigarettes and shit like that.
Uh-huh.
And people would put in orders before I left, and if they had it, I would bring it back. And this dude ordered tuna fish, and but they didn't have tuna fish that day because it's jail. Like you don't just get what you want.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like they have to make it available to you. So I came back and he was like,
sort of the principle of jail, right there.
Yeah, exactly.
In a nutshell. Yeah.
What kind of jail would it be if you just could order whatever the fuck you wanted and get it? No, it's jail, bro. Someday you're gonna eat goulash.
Right.
Someday you're gonna drink fucking glow in the dark Kool-Aid.
Because the principle being, it's jail.
It's jail.
It's jail.
We don't have to feed you.
The sign up front says jail.
They used to have this juice that was like, I swear to God, it glowed in the dark. And I'm like, what are we drinking, dog? This shit is definitely, this is not.
Well, there's a lot of sugar.
Not healthy.
And that's probably not good for inmate control, I would think.
Well, you know what they do? They feed you you give you a lot of sugar, they give you a lot of carbs. And that's why people come out of jail so huge. Because you get, all you could do, you go to the gym, you work out, you eat shit all day.
Yeah.
And then you go to the gym and work out, and then you just blow up. That's why dudes come out of jail so huge.
Yeah. No, everyone gains, no one cuts in jail.
Nobody loses weight in jail. Unless you're just like so sad that you're in jail that you don't eat.
So I don't know why you went to jail, but I know in your routine you say it was on bullshit. Okay. Yeah. So Robin Hood?
Well, not Robin Hood. Well, if Robin Hood meant that the money was going to me.
Okay. Were you poor at the time?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
I was living in the East. That's what I was living in the hood. I was living in, my building was called Vietnam.
So you were Omar from The Wire for a while.
Well, Omar.
Straight Omar.
You know what? I never watched The Wire, dude. Because I lived it. So there was no reason for me to watch it.
Yeah.
But I used to stick up drug dealers trying to get enough money to get the hell out of the hood. And that's why I knew I was bad at crime, because I got arrested for robbing a drug dealer.
I understand why you wouldn't want to arrest a drug dealer, as they are often armed and could kill you. Why you would, 2 reasons. 1, they have money.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, they're not that likely to go to the police.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I chose them. Like I didn't see the point in robbing somebody that worked like a regular job. Because what am I getting out of that?
Right.
I could rob a drug dealer and get 10 grand right now. If I rob some dude that just got off of work and just got his check, what's the most he live in this neighborhood?
Right.
What is the most he gonna have on him? 1,500?
The fact that he's around makes him
Exactly.
a terrible candidate. for
Exactly. The
robbery.
fact that you coming off the train on my block means I'm not robbing you. You don't got nothing.
Uh-huh.
But that dude on the corner that's been out there all day selling that crack, oh, he got some money on him. I know he do because I've been watching him all day.
So this was just an idea that hit you. This is the good guy.
Yeah.
to rob.
Well, I wanted to get out,
makes
and
sense.
I wanted
Yeah.
to get out, and I was working at Key Food, and I was like, this is never gonna get me out. This
No.
$3.35 an hour is not working. So I was like, how do I get
Was this
a
in East
lot
New
of
York?
money? This is in East New York.
Yeah.
How do I get a lot of money real quick? And I was like, well, these dudes make a lot of money.
Yeah.
They stay fresh. They got big ass chains on. They making good money. So why not take their money?
Right.
And so it made sense to me. They can't call the cops.
So
Or they at least you would think that they wouldn't call the cops because they're drug dealers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what do you mean? What were you gonna say?
No. I didn't want to.
No, that was my train of thought. I was like,
Yeah.
they can't call the cops, and they always got a shitload of money on them because they selling drugs all day. So
Makes
take
sense to me. And so it worked until it didn't work.
it. See, this is the thing. Most dudes that are on the block selling drugs, they don't have guns on them
Oh, that makes sense.
because
Yeah.
if you out there, if you get caught with drugs and guns, you're done.
Right.
So most of them don't have guns on them. So we watch them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'll watch them.
Right.
You know, I won't just run up on somebody. I'll watch them for a few days and be like, okay, they got steady stream of customers. They get some paper. Okay, this is a target, right?
Sometimes there's a community gun, right, that they'll hide in a lamp.
Yeah, they'll be like, but they won't be on them.
Right.
And by the time
Right.
I'm up on them, they can't go there.
Right.
I already got you.
Right.
Don't move.
So
Let me get
when
what you got?
So when your last crime or attempted crime went down, did that drug dealer turn you in?
I
How'd
think
that
he
go
called the
bad?
cops. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think he called the cops.
Maybe he.
because,
Yeah.
It was me and my brother. As soon as we got in the car and pulled out the parking spot, the cops was on us. I'm
Huh.
like, this son of a bitch.
So maybe that drug dealer was like an informer or worked with the
Maybe.
cops or something like that.
Maybe I wouldn't have guessed it, but maybe because they were too quick on us. Like there was no reason for them to pull us over other than somebody saying these dudes got guns and drugs in the car.
Right.
You know?
Do the cops like you more, dislike? Well, who knows? Do they
No,
treat you
they-
better or worse because you were kind of doing their job? Maybe they're like, I don't need the competition if someone's taking down drug dealers.
They didn't give a shit.
No.
They was like, we got another one.
Yeah.
They didn't give a damn. I was like, yo, but I mean, I'm helping you out. I told the cop that. I was like, but I'm helping you out. And he was
I'm
like,
like, get my PD auxiliary over here.
yeah, they didn't give a shit.
Yeah. And so then you go to jail. And
Yeah.
when did you start pursuing the comedy? In jail, before jail? Were you a funny,
No, when I
were you a
got
funny
out.
prisoner?
No, actually, no. You know what? My mom used to always tell me that I should be a comedian, but I never thought I was funny. Like I used to just react to shit the way I reacted to shit, and I never. But I started doing comedy. When I got out of jail, a friend of mine got me a job at the Museum of Modern Art, and then I kind of like moved up at the MoMA, and I was managing a store for the MoMA in Grand Central Terminal. And,
Oh, I know that story.
Yeah. And then
By a
and then-
goddamn mouse pad with Botticelli on it.
Exactly.
Went in for one.
So I was managing that store, and the security guard at that store was a comic. He used to do stand up,
Uh-huh.
and I had never met a comedian before. You know, I always liked stand up, but I never thought about doing it. And I used to help him write jokes. Like we'd be sitting there when it wasn't busy, and he'd be throwing out ideas, and I'd be like, "Oh, you should say this," and he's like, "Yo, you should do this, man. You know how to write a joke." And I'm like, "Nah, I ain't doing that shit." Like,
He just knew that your natural way of presenting humor in real life was very structured like a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
because
how
I
to-
watched a lot of stand up.
Right.
Like I was a huge Richard Pryor fan, you know, Eddie Murphy fan, you know. So I was really, you know, I really was a fan of stand up. So, you know, he was like, so I already knew how to structure a joke.
Yeah.
So I would just help him, you know what I mean? And then I went up to the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem. That was the only black comedy club in New York City. And he went up and he did the jokes that we worked on, and it killed. And I was like, oh shit, maybe I can do this because he was saying punchlines that I gave him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I can do this. And then I tried it, and then it worked out.
So I don't want to interrupt the life story, but I want to go back to the joke about I don't think we should abolish prisons because I've been in prison and I met those prisoners. I know earlier in or at least a few years ago, and some of the stuff that I've heard from maybe 10 years ago, you did have some jokes about going to jail, and it was about, I just went to jail on bullshit. But you didn't, right?
Yeah,
but it seems like you haven't talked about it for a while.
Well, the reason that the whole point of that joke is that everybody says that. Everybody in jail says that. I'm in here on some bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Every single person, you know? And my joke was, you know, they were like, what you in here for? Man, they got me on some bullshit. They gonna say I tried to stab the dude, but when you found me, I was taking the knife out the dude. I don't know who put the knife in him. I was trying to help him out.
Yeah.
But that's how everybody's
I'm into
saying
recycling.
Every single person in jail is in there on some bullshit.
Yeah.
And then
so you're saying that to a crowd who's heard those excuses, like on the Uptown Comedy album, at the Uptown Comedy Clubs, because they all know people. And then you also have jokes about when people come out of jail, they get a big hurrah, big party. But when people come back from college,
damn, you went way back.
Yeah. So here's my question now. Now you're talking about the idea of I believe in jails because I've been in jail. Is that because the idea is in the air to Comedy Cellar audiences and maybe more white audiences, abolish prison, abolish jails? So this is the idea that's in the air, and so now you can do that joke, or you were motivated to do a fuck that, we shouldn't abolish prison joke.
Well, my motivation is stop being a fake ally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what goes on in these neighborhoods. Like, stop saying dumb shit. Like, you know.
But when you were playing Uptown Comedy Club, people wouldn't be saying abolish prison.
Well, no, because these people, they grew up in the same neighborhood I grew up in.
Right.
Exactly. And they know there's a lot of people that they live around that should be in jail. They know that.
Yeah.
So those jokes, I mean, even this joke would work in at the Uptown Comedy Club audience as well.
Yeah. But I think it works so well here because so many of the people who come to the Comedy Cellar, they're from all throughout America. And you play clubs like this, but either they believe in it or there are people in their friend circle who say abolish prison and over incarceration. They go on, and none of those people have the real experience that you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of the joke is like, stop speaking out of your ass. Like you that's what you're basically doing when you're saying shit like that and you don't know what people's everyday, you know what's going to happen? If you defund the police, do you know what's going to happen in East New York and Brownsville? Do you understand what's going to happen in these neighborhoods? There's already sociopaths out there trying to take over the neighborhood now.
Yeah.
Do you think if you get rid of cops, they just gonna quit? They're just gonna be like, this is boring. No one's chasing us. No, they're gonna destroy my community. Stop it. You know what you do? You find a better way when you hire cops. Maybe there should be a better psychological exam for cops.
Maybe if they do a bad shooting, they should be charged with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe you should just figure out a better way to choose who you make cops. And who you don't. Yeah. Okay? That's what you should be figuring out, not getting rid of cops.
Yeah.
Because these sociopaths ain't going nowhere.
Your joke is an op-ed. It's a thesis.
It is. It really is. Yeah. It's like, to me, it just seems obvious to me. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we doing?
If you're a catchphrase comedian, what are we talking about?
Exactly. Yeah. What are we doing here?
On your Wikipedia page, it says you organized a strike at the Museum of Modern Art.
We won a strike.
You won a strike, but from the outpost of the Grand Central Terminal gift shop, you did it?
No. When that store they had shut it down, and I went back to work at the MoMA, but I didn't go back into management. I went back as senior sales. I didn't like being management.
Yeah.
So I went back as senior sales rep, and then I worked in the design store, and my coworkers elected me their shop steward for the union, and so when it was time to strike, I was one of the leaders of the strike, and we fucking kicked their ass. I'll tell you that much.
Do you feel that being, I don't want to use the wrong offensive term, though. I think you'll roll with it. An ex-con, a felon, a convicted person has hurt.
I am a felon.
Okay.
I'm not offended by that. It's my real life.
Has hurt you? Has hurt your hireability or job prospects? No.
I thought I would never get on television.
Why hasn't it?
I don't know. I always thought, because I remember there was a comic that was they were gonna book him for Last Comic Standing, and then they found out he had a record.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't book him because he had felonies on his record. So I never thought I would get on TV because I had felonies. But I think the fact that I've already put it out there
Yes.
is a reason why people are like, all right, well, he's not that same person. They could see that, you know what I
Right.
mean? And my felonies are not, I wasn't a menace to society. I was a menace to drug dealers. So, I mean, come on. You
Fair.
should fucking carry me around the room.
That's my last question. Do you ever run into anyone from the old days or worry about running into anyone
Yes.
from the old days?
That's why I'd never ride the subway.
You really?
Yeah. One time I was on a subway and this dude I robbed got off the train and he was walking and he saw me and he punched the glass.
Holy shit.
Because the door had closed and he punched the glass. He was like, motherfucker. I was like,
He
I need a
recognized you
car.
from when you were that young.
Yeah, he
Wow.
recognized me.
Is your name,
Yeah.
is that your real name? Was that the name you lived
Yeah,
under?
my name is the
You
same.
never changed it.
Yeah, my name has always been the same.
You're on the marquees here
yeah.
and throughout town.
Thankfully, nobody showed up.
Oh my God.
But that was the only time I ever ran into anybody but this was like 20 years ago. This was years ago. So yeah, I haven't run into anybody since then. Maybe most of them are locked up or, they got families and shit.
Yeah.
They're grown men. I'm 53 now. So I was robbing people when I was 17, 18 years old.
They say you do age out of it.
Yeah, you kind of grow out of it.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
you should. I still have friends that are my age that are still trying to sell drugs. Dude, you're 50. What are you doing?
I know. Well, what's worse for them, the law or the fact that it's all becoming legal, undercutting their market?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a concern for them.
Mike Yard is a hardworking comic who's been described as sly.
I kinda like that. slide.
He's working on his new special, which will be on YouTube. Check him out if you get a chance. I think you could tell from this interview, he's a man who contains multitudes. Mike, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.